Hi, guys, and welcome to Mom Coach Wife. My name is Alina Michelle, for those of you who are new to my channel. And today we're going to be talking about setting goals for every aspect of your life. It's something that I talk about a lot in the Balanced Mom community. I have a phrase that I have all of the moms say when they first join, and that's to say, I am more than just a mom. So today we're going to dive a little bit deeper into what that actually means and how you yourself can find all the different things that you are other than a mom and start to really focus on them. We are going to be using this quite a lot, which is copy of the Balanced Mom Planner. This, this particular one, if you're wondering, is an executive size or standard size as it's labeled on the website, and it's also in the black floral design. But this is the one that we're going to be using in today's video, so you'll see me reference it quite a bit. So you'll also be learning about the Balanced Mom Planner throughout this video, as well as how to identify your roles and your goals for every aspect of your life. So if you are new to this channel, be sure to like this video, subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications. We do 2 videos a week. Typically on Monday, we have our Mompreneur Mondays, and then a second video on Wednesday. This particular video is actually coming to you on a Thursday, but that's irrelevant for the story. So anyways, without further ado, let's get started. So first, let's talk about the benefits of having goals for different aspects of your life. First and foremost, as we mentioned in the intro, we're more than just moms, right? So there's other parts of our lives that oftentimes when we get so caught up in the mom role, we start to put them to the side, forget about them, and not really nurture different relationships and such. So having a goal for different aspects of your life, like maybe your career or your relationships with your friends, family, or spouse, having goals for that, make sure that you're actually putting some focus in those other areas, and it makes you think about them a little bit more and not so easily get caught up in being just a mom. So it's really, really important that you have goals for these different aspects in your life so that you don't let things fall to the wayside that are actually very important to you. So that's one of the major benefits. The other thing is that you're going to feel like more of a whole person when you're focusing on multiple areas of your life rather than only having one standing front and center. You can reduce the amount of drain that you have in a specific area by having goals in various different ones. And I'm telling you this based on my own personal experience of setting goals in different areas of my life. I noticed that upon doing that, I was able to feel more complete as an individual by having different goals. So again, as I stated in the intro, we're going to be looking at the Balanced Mom Planner throughout this process because it's a great tool to help you to identify those goals, manage your habits, and actually reach different goals that you set for yourself. So before you can set goals in different areas of your life, you need to know what those areas are. So it's very important that you dig deep and find out what your roles in life are. So how I personally did this was I took out a sheet of paper and I thought about every single person and thing that I was responsible for or to, and I looked at what was my role in that relationship. So for me, I ended up first putting individual because we are individuals first before anything else. And then the rest of these probably aren't exactly in order because I'm not looking at my original sheet here. But there was mother, of course, because I am a mom, wife, because I'm a wife, entrepreneur. At the time, I was working for a corporate company. So I also had employee up there, daughter, friend, sibling, even pet mom was a role, just to name off a few. I believe when I was all said and done with the roles that I had listed out, I had about 10 to 12 different roles that I had identified for myself. So it's really important to dig deep and figure out what it is that what it is that's important to you, and who you are responsible for when it comes to your roles, and identifying what those different roles are. You may even be surprised what your different responsibilities are as a human being, to yourself as well as to other people. But those are going to be your roles. Think about who you are responsible to or for, and what your role is to that person or thing. So next, this is where the Balanced Mom Planner comes in. Actually, one of the first pages in the planner, I can actually open it today, is a roles list. Now, obviously, we just went through and created our roles, but then you're going to want to list them in order of importance. And the reason why I do this myself and I have my clients to do this is because that helps you really understand what is your priority. I usually tell my clients to put individual as number one because regardless of everything else, you are a human being. You have to take care of yourself before you can take care of everyone else. So individual is usually one that I like mandate for my clients, and I mandate it for myself to create as a role and to put right there at the tippy top. Everything else is totally up to you as to how you want to organize it and set it. And in all honesty, if you don't want to put individual as number one, that's up to you. But I feel like having that as your top priority and making sure it makes you make sure that you always take care of yourself first so that you are ready to seize the day, go take care of whatever business you have or the other people in your life that you are responsible for. Okay. So now that you have your roles all listed, and yes, this is a blank one. It does not show any of my roles here, but you would have all of your roles here listed or wherever you decide to keep them. The next thing that you're going to do is you're going to sit with yourself and ask yourself what you can do to improve on each of these roles, because essentially a goal is something that you want to achieve. So we're going to be looking at different ways that you can improve or expand on what you are currently doing in a role, or simply change. Maybe you feel like you're doing too much in a specific area and you need to pull it back. And maybe there's some, maybe like for work, you need to tell people no more on different projects that they ask you to do. That might be your goal, but it's an improvement for yourself in that specific role. And once you figure out what that improvement is, that's going to help you to be a little bit more motivated in the goals that you set. And it's also going to add some value to the goals, because as you're thinking about what you need to improve, also think about why it's important to you to make that change or improvement in that specific role. This is something that you can write down if you'd like to write it down somewhere. You can even write it right next to your role if you like to do that, so that you see it every single time that you're looking at the list of roles that you have. Now that you know what is important to you in each of your goals, it's time to set a goal. In each of your roles, it's time to set a goal. So your goal might be simply what that improvement is. And we're talking about major goals right here, or long-term goals. So maybe that simple improvement or major improvement that you just wrote down for that role is the goal that you want to set for yourself. We're not really going to focus on setting a time frame for this goal to be achieved at this point. The whole idea is simply to set the goal. So when we're looking at setting a goal, The next page in the Balanced Mom Planner is a set of goals for you to set. Now, I didn't put every single role, like there you can have up to like 24 roles in the planner, but there's about 10 spots here for you to set major goals. So your top 10 roles, because you've already put them in order, those are the ones that you're going to be setting major goals for. Okay. And you're going to label your role at the top, and then below that, you're going to put there's 3 spots for goals. I recommend having at least one major goal for your top 10 roles. It doesn't have to be something that's going to be super time consuming. For example, one of mine was to speak to my friends more often. It was really, really bad with keeping in touch with people. I would get caught up in everything else that was going on in my life, especially after becoming a mother. And I kind of let that ball drop. And once I actually made that a goal, I literally talk to my friends at least once a week, if not more than that. Whereas I could let months go by before I would reach out to someone. So make sure that you're setting at least one major goal for each role in the planner. You can set up to 3, but I recommend that you set at least one so that you know which ones you're going to be focusing on. And if you do have 10 roles in there, it might just be wise to set one so that you don't have an overload. Okay. But you know your lifestyle better than I do, because we are not working in this case one-to-one. So I don't really know what your lifestyle is. So you have to make the best decision for your current lifestyle. Now, once you have your major goal, that's when you're going to break it down into mini goals. That's what I call them. And so mini goals are basically minor goals or short-term goals that are going to get you to that major goal. So one by one, look at those goals and say, okay, if I want to, like I said, for me, I want to keep in touch with my friends more often. What am I going to do day to day in order to do that? Sometimes it's simply a repetition. And so it's just creating a habit. And when it is something like that, that's where the habit tracker comes into play. So with things where it's just creating a repetition, like me reaching out to my friends, you're going to put it here in the habits. You can also put on the habit tracker habits that you want to break. So if you are saying yes to things all the time, you might want to put it like in a different color. I recommend like a red for something that you don't want to do anymore. And then each and every day, this is number 1 through 31, each and every day that you do that habit, you're going to mark it off. Or if it's something that you want to break and you break that habit for that day, you did not do it, then you will go ahead and mark it off. And this is just a way to track the different things that you were doing from day to day to see if you were actually breaking or creating the habits that you want to. You can also label them down below as well. So again, some things are going to be habits and things that you're going to do day by day, while other goals might be in stages. So it may be something like, for instance, if you want to start a clothing line, right? You're probably going to have different minor goals to get to that step. So you've got to figure out what you're going to call it, what kind of clothes you're going to wear, who's your target audience, all those different little things. And so it may not be something that you're doing day to day to get to that goal of actually having a clothing line, but it's going to be multiple mini goals that are going to get you to that major goal that you have. So when you're looking at those, that's where we get into the weekly planning, and you would plan out your goals for each week, what you plan to do to get you to that next goal. Okay, so just kind of go back over what we've said so far. You're going to set your roles, you're going to organize your roles in order for what's the most important to you, and then you're going to ask yourself where you can improve, what things you can change, and then from that you're going to set your major goal, and then you're going to break your major goal down into miniature goals. You're going to do this for literally every role that you have so that you know that you're paying attention to the things that are most important to you. Also, something I did not mention is that sometimes in figuring out what those different roles are, you might find a role that you no longer want to keep, and it may one of your goals may be to remove that role. Maybe there's a job that you want to leave, or maybe there's something that you've just been doing for other people that has been exhausting to you. And if that's the case, then you find a way to remove that role from your plate. Um, so once you have all of your goals, you have them written down, you're going to go back and you're going to track them, and you're going to reflect each day to see how much you have worked on each of those goals. Now, when you're doing all of this, at the end of the day, or the week or the month or however long it takes for you to get into the swing of things, you're going to start to see that you have better relationships. If relationships are on there, you're going to see improvements in your career or business and improvements in yourself overall, and definitely as a mom. But the point of this is to nurture all the different sides of you, not just being a mom, and so that you feel more fulfilled, and then you can go out there and be a better mom. Um, so, yeah, that's pretty much it. Set goals in every aspect of your life. Make sure that you write them down. Things that you write down, you're more likely to complete. And when you are setting those goals, make sure that you're tracking your progress on them. Sometimes it's the littlest things that we overlook, and those can make a world of a difference in how we feel about the progress of our goals. So thank you guys for tuning into this video. It was my pleasure making it. This is one of my favorite things to talk about. So until next time, thank you.